so much for being with us. Thank you for being here at 3Form today. We're so stoked. Oh my word. Let's give ourselves a big hand, shall we? Let's give ourselves a hand for being here. This is awesome. So one of the reasons that we are excited is that this is our 15th annual Green Week. And every year since we're as a company, you know, we're only 16 years old, and we've grown a lot here. We're based right here in Salt Lake City. We love our beautiful valley that we live in here. And but from the very beginning, once a year, we decided one of the best ways to move the needle on sustainability would be to have a week dedicated to sustainability. And so every year, once a year, we have what's called Green Week. And every year we also have a t-shirt that we design. So if you notice this t-shirt I have on, it says Impact, Individual, and Influence. And every year, and this year we had a contest amongst our employees to design the logo. And then we all voted on them. And this was actually designed by one of our employees. And this is the one that had been voted on, and we make a t-shirt. So this is fun. And I think that this may be the first time that we've actually extended Green Week to the community a little bit. Oftentimes Green Week is sort of more of an internal event. We have 550 employees, and we have several factories here in Salt. We have 2 factories here in Salt Lake, and we have a factory in Seattle, and we have a factory in North Carolina that does glass. How's my hair, by the way? Is it looking okay? You guys taking pictures? Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure, you know. And so, you know, part of it has been just to really focus us as an organization on sustainability, because we find that sustainability is one of those items in business that sometimes can get pushed to the lower part of your priorities if you're not focused on it. So we have to always think about how we can raise that up and have sustainability be front and center, and have our entire organization think about it. And we find ways to do it in a positive way so that no one feels as though they have to meet some certain criteria in order to participate in the, you know, the super critical activity of being sustainable and moving the needle forward. So we find positive ways that everybody can contribute, and that we as an organization can get better at what we do. We are committed to making materials that are responsible, and we are committed to making a difference in the community and around the world through emissions, through responsible materials, and providing transparency to the architects and designers who specify our products. So thank you so much for being here and being part of Green Week. And the other reason that we're excited is we've kind of had this rolling 2-year remodel that has just happened. You know, we at one point in time we had to make a decision. Do we stay in this building, or do we go and find a new building? And we went and looked at possibilities for a new building, and we felt like the most responsible thing to do would be to simply repurpose this building. It has some space that is offices, and our factories are also here, so much of the space back there is all dedicated to manufacturing. And so we've kind of, yeah, it's great. So we decided to stay right here, and we've kind of had this rolling 2-year remodel going on using a lot of our materials, and we've made our own desks and furniture out of birch ply, and you see some of our lighting. And so hopefully you've had a chance just to kind of wander around a little bit and see that. And we're going to do, for those who want to stay, we'll do a tour, a more formal tour a little bit later. So it's fun to just do a little open house and have you here. And we realize we're kind of a little bit west, and most of you probably work over on the east side, but nothing in Salt Lake's too far away, right? A 15-minute commute max. It's one of the things we love about it here. So that is great. The third thing that's going on is we're just christening, or ribbon cutting. That's what this ribbon is for, and I want you to know that I do have giant scissors here today, because you cannot have a ribbon cutting without those giant scissors. It's the key to a successful ribbon cutting. But we're just christening our new EV charging stations. We have one of the largest concentrations of EV chargers in the state. We have 16 EV chargers right out there. Isn't that exciting? Yeah. So that's fantastic. And 3Form and myself, we are one of the founding members of Leaders for Clean Air. So 3Form and PacSize and International Paperbox together founded several years ago Leaders for Clean Air, whose mission is to promote the installation of EV charging stations around the valley. Because as we know, air quality in our valley is one of the biggest issues that we face. It's one of the only negatives as people think about should they move to this amazing place. One of the only real negatives is the air quality in the winter.
Thank you.
and we need to work on that together. It's something that's a big issue for us. And about 50% of the particulates in the air come out of tailpipes of automobiles. And so if we can promote the use of electric vehicles, and our employees can charge their vehicles at work free of charge, so economically it works out very well. You really are only paying a lease payment on the car, you have no fuel costs, and it's doing the right thing by the air quality in our, so we're gonna do that. But the other thing that's very special about today is we have Jason McLennan here, and each year for Green Week, we try to bring in a luminary, someone who's sort of a real leader in the area of sustainability, and we bring them in and they speak here to our employees. And tonight we have the opportunity to hear briefly from Jason. Jason McLennan is the founder of the International Living Future Institute, which is the parent organization that supports the Living Building Challenge and the Living Product Challenge, and has really been an amazing pioneer in green building. Jason started out practicing as an architect and was a big proponent of LEED standards. Many of you are familiar with LEED standards, and LEED standards are fantastic. Jason said, how do I take that to the next level? Jason wanted to take LEED and move it to the next level. He felt like there was more that could be done. And so he began to develop the standards around the Living Building Challenge and create buildings that are truly restorative. Part of the message I love, part of Jason's message that I love, is the positivity message, the message around let's not just focus on reducing the harm that we do, but let's focus on the positive. What can we do that is truly restorative? And many of the buildings and products that Jason is involved in tend towards that truly positive restorative aspect. And for example, the new Bullitt Center in Seattle, which is the headquarters of the Living Future Institute, is just an absolutely amazing building. It's not connected to the sewer. They have all the toilets compost in the basement. It's fully self-supporting. They've done just some absolutely amazing things. So what I'd like to do now is, why don't we give Jason a welcome. Let's have Jason come up. He's going to just share a few brief thoughts with us. He's very tired. Yeah, we've worn him out today. We really, we've kind of worn him out, but he's nice to speak to us.
Thanks. Hello, everyone. It's really a pleasure to be here. And you did wear me out. I gave two speeches to your team, but actually it also energized me too, because you have an amazing team, and you guys make some amazing products. And more than I even, as I said to you earlier, more than I even realized in terms of the breadth of the products that you make. And I don't know if everyone knows, but 3form is doing more and more work with the Institute, working on living products and declare Redlist free work, which is a real powerful sign of leadership. So I actually want to thank you and everyone in your company that's part of that. So how about a round of applause? The focus of the work that I do, and it's great to be up here with a beer in my hand, so thanks for that as well. I'm more comfortable with it. My friends from Arc Nexus over here, they know that I like speaking with a beer in my hand. The work that we do really is focused on changing our relationship with the natural world. As everyone knows, if you are paying attention in the world, that we have to make significant changes to how we live and how we operate. And the good news is that we have the technologies and the know-how, we just need the will. And we have been working on living buildings with a host of other architects, engineers, designers, developers around the world. And we have over 500 projects actively pursuing the most rigorous standard on the planet, which is the idea that buildings should be powered completely by the sun with no fossil fuel use. They should get all their water from the sky, regardless if it's an arid climate or not. They need to find a way to work within the water balance of their place. They should be creating soil, not sewage. They should be creating interior environments that are better for human health, that are healthy to be in, and contributing to outdoor environments, like you were mentioning, that is cleaner for all of us to breathe and live in. And they need to be free of carcinogens and mutagens and things that make us sick and bioaccumulate in the ecosystems that sustain us. So this is really the idea behind the Living Building Challenge, and we now have living buildings around the world that really are remarkable places that will never have an energy bill, that will never have a water bill, and really create a different sort of set of expectations around what's possible. And having had the pleasure of working on a lot of these and visiting a lot of these buildings, it's clear that we definitely need living buildings here in this community, and we need them throughout the state, and we need them everywhere in every community. And once you see them and live in them, you can't unsee them. And inside those living buildings, we need to be surrounded by living products that have the same kind of ethos, how they're manufactured, the contributions that are made to the community that they're in, the chemical composition of the materials themselves, the waste streams. Everything can be rethought and redesigned. And as we were talking about today, it also has to be beautiful, it has to be pleasurable to use, it has to be better. And that's really part of the positive message that you mentioned, is that we aren't successful in making changes in our culture when we ask people only to sacrifice. And sacrifice is sometimes a necessary thing. But we also live in an abundant, beautiful world, and we are smart enough to find solutions that not only are better for the world, but are a pleasure to behold and a pleasure to use. And that's really the spirit in which we hope to do our work. We want buildings and products that are better than the things that are polluting. And when you have a product or a building that is better, and if you can also make it affordable, then you win. And that's the way it works. Better, cheaper, you win. And we're heading there in a whole host of ways. When I started pushing living buildings, for example, it was definitely more expensive. It was better, but it took a lot of conviction to begin. And we've really brought that cost down where it's getting very, very close to being competitive with most building types. And when we can get it to the right point, we win. And it's the same. It's why I'm glad that you're doing this ribbon cutting for all the EV stations. It's the same as it was with the computer, with the smartphone. We're going to get there. We do need to see the end of the internal combustion engine. It's that the era of that technology needs to end. And I started my journey driving an electric car before the technology was ready. I'm kind of an early adopter in those. I'm a Luddite in some areas, but in other areas I'm an early adopter. And I used to live in Kansas City, Missouri for a while. And I had bought the first production model of the Corbin Sparrow electric car. Does anyone know that vehicle?
Like a three-wheel?
It's a three-wheel thing, and it was about this color right here.
Like a chartreuse.
And so I had guys in big trucks follow me, trying to beat me up. Because it was so weird, and it was these sort of polluting lead acid batteries in it, and it was, it really, it was in the shop more than it was on the road, unfortunately. But I was gung-ho about, and now we've moved, and now electric cars are faster, they're safer, they're better in every way, and the cost factor is dropping precipitously. And again, if you have a chance to drive an EV, you don't want to go back to standing there at the fuel pump station again. It's just old thinking. So I'm just really delighted at yet another example of the leadership your company is showing on yet another subject. And I couldn't be more pleased to be here to participate in this and to speak to your staff and to see everything that you guys are doing. I really am appreciative of your leadership. So thanks, everyone.
So now I think the scissors are big enough that the two of us are to do this ribbon cutting together. How about that?
Well, keep the beard out of the photo, though.
Or keep the beer out of the photo?
Yeah, probably.
It's like a ribbon cutting party.
Not supposed to drink beer and carry big scissors.
Also drink beer and cats? True, yeah. All right, ready? Okay, we need like a drum roll or something like that. All right, 1, 2, 3. Woo!